to learn, come on, let's dive in. This Reid class has lessons, tips, and the knowledge to win. Hit that subscribe, don't let it slip by. Join the journey, let's reach for the sky. Like, comment, share, let's all grow. With every click, the learning will flow. Don't miss out, stay in the know. Hit that bell and watch us go.
Welcome to Miss Reid's class. Today we'll be looking at linking tables in a relational database. In today's video, we're going to define the term relationships in a relational database. We're going to explain what is meant by the foreign key field. We're going to distinguish between one-to-one and one-to-many relationship types. And also we're going to outline the steps involved in linking tables. So, relational database. A database is known as a relational database when the tables and files are linked together. If you want to make a relational database, your tables and files must have relationship. So this is basically saying to us that when tables and files, or when tables and records are linked together in a database, it is known as a relational database. And once it is that you want to make a relational database, then a relationship must exist between your tables and the files. So what then is a relationship in a database? It is the linking of tables and files to share records. So basically, it's a connection between two or more tables that links data based on a common field. So whenever our tables and our files are linked to share records, this is known as a relationship. So one may ask, why is it important to set relationship in a database? By setting up relationships, you will be able to join the tables to share records, thereby preventing the duplication or repetition of data. So this is basically saying to us that relationships in a database helps us link tables instead of repeating the same information over and over. So this helps to make our database more organized, more accurate, and easier to update. So let's take, for example, Reid's fashion store. So this is my customer table if I don't use any relationships. So as you can see, customer details would be repeated. So they would have to be repeated every time a customer places an order. So without the relationship, you realize that there is repetition. Because as you're seeing, the customer John, his name and his phone number is repeated 3 times, while Sarah's information is repeated twice. So this right here is a waste of space, as every time a customer places an order, their names and phone numbers has to be repeated. And think about it, if John changes his number, we would have to update all the 3 rows to reflect that change. So let's now examine how the store's data would look if a relationship actually exists. So similar to our normal relationship, where it requires 2 people to interact or to be connected, in Access it is no different. So it requires 2 tables, or at least 2 tables with a common field. So right here I have a customer table and I have my orders table. So you realize in the customer table, each customer, their name appear only once. So one time you see in John along with his phone number, and one time you see in Sarah along with her phone number. And then the orders table, it would look like this. So you're not seeing the customer's name being repeated. You're only seeing an ID number that is assigned to them repeated in our orders table. So this right here is way more organized and easier to update. Because if it is that Sarah goes ahead and change her number, we only have to make that change in the customer table only once. Right. A relational database can handle more than one table at the same time, so at least two tables. Alright, so let's now look at the different relationship types that exist in a database. So the first one being one-to-one relationship, and it reads, each record in table A is linked to only one record in table B and vice versa. So this is saying that each record in one table is linked to only one record in another table. So let's take, for example, employee table. Let's call that table A, and let's call the company's car table table B. As you can see, each employee is assigned one company car, or we can look at it and say that each company car belongs to only one employee. How do we know that? Employee ID number 1. So this number is assigned to John, and John is the manager. And his company car, or he's assigned the company car 101. And if we look in the company's car table, we're seeing the car ID 101, and we can link it back to the employee with the ID number 1, which is John. So that's a one-to-one relationship right there. So one employee is assigned to one company car, or one company car belongs to only one employee. Next type of relationship, one-to-many relationships. So this one is saying that one record in table A can be linked to multiple records in table B, but each record in table B links back to only one record in table A. So this one is saying that one record in one table can be linked to many records in another table. So as we're seeing table A right there is our customer table. So one customer, being John, would have placed many orders in our orders table right there. So that's a one-to-many relationship. So you realize John, he would have placed 3 orders. So hence his customer ID would have been repeated 3 times in our orders table. So one field, being John, from our customer table can be linked with many fields in our order table. So that's a one-to-many relationship right there. And this is the most common type of relationship in databases. And we also have the many-to-many relationships. And in this one, many records in table A can be linked to many records in table B. So for example, many customers can order a particular product, or many customers can order more than one product in an order. Rules to consider when setting relationships between tables. So when you are about to set up a relationship between two tables, you can follow the following rules. So the first one, both tables must have at least one field containing common data. So both tables must have at least one field containing common data. So we just quickly jump back to our table right here. We realize that customer ID is common to both tables. Because we have customer ID right there in our customer table, and we also see it showing in our orders table. So that's the common field right there. So let's get back to the rules. Number 2 says that the fields containing common information must be of the same data type. And they went further to give us an example. So for example, if the data type of a field with customer ID in a customer table is auto number, the data type of customer ID in the orders table must also be auto number. So the two fields, the two same fields must have the same data type. So if you set customer ID in the customer table as auto number, then it needs to be set as auto number also in the orders table in order for you to set that relationship. And then at least one of these fields must be a primary key. So you must set customer ID as a primary key in one of these tables. We set the relationship between the two tables with common data. One of these will be the primary key in its table. The field that is used in the other table is known as the foreign key. we must always make the link from the primary key to the foreign key. And that's very important to note. So what then is the foreign key? A foreign key is a field in one table that has been linked with the primary key field of another table. So let's look at these two tables right here. So in our customer table, we have the following fields. So we have customer ID, we have name, and we have phone number. So right there, customer ID will be more suitable to be the primary key in our customer table because that's the unique. That is what is unique about that table. Because we can have many customers with the name John or many customers with the name Sarah, so that would not be unique. And we can have some customers who don't have a cell phone, and we know that the primary key field cannot be left empty. So customer ID is the most suitable field right there to be the primary key in our customer table. Alright, considering that customer ID is common in both tables, so both the customer table and the order table. So customer ID right there in the customer table will be considered the primary key, but down in the orders table, it will be considered as the foreign key. So it is a primary key in its own table, primary key in the customer table, but when we move down to the orders table, it will be considered as the foreign key. And then these are the steps to link two tables. So you go to the relationship window, and this can be found when you click on the database tools tab. You select relationships. Then you're going to move down and you're going to select the tables you want to link by clicking on them and clicking the add button for each one. And then you're going to close the show table dialog box. You're going to select the primary key and drag it to the foreign key of the second table. And there's a very important note right there. So make sure you drag the primary key to the foreign key and not the other way around. Then the edit relationship dialog will appear. You're going to tick enforce referential integrity, then create, and then you go ahead and you save that relationship. And that right there is the steps to link two tables in a database. So we've come to the end of today's video. Please ensure that you like, you share, you comment, and of course, please subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video where I'll be showing you guys a practical example of how to link two tables. See you soon.
If you're looking to learn, come on, let's dive in. This Reid class has lessons, tips, and the knowledge to win. Hit that subscribe, don't let it slip by. Join the journey, let's reach for the sky. Like, comment, share, let's all grow. With every click, the learning will flow.